M&A story can be divided into three phases. One is the pre-1990 era, which I'll call the infancy stage. Then there is an era from 1990 to 2005, 2010. I can very well call it the adolescent stage, and I will explain it why. And then if you look at the era after 2005, 2010, which is the current era, what is happening now and what can we see from happening across India? The infancy stage, pre-1990, India was a closed economy. M&A was an issue which we hardly paid attention to. I did my chartered accountancy, what is called also CPA. And the subject hardly touched M&A at that point of time. Even the tax laws had very little things touching upon M&A at that point of time. So deals would happen, domestic deals, and we would say, wow, something strange has happened, but we wouldn't understand head or tail as accountants what really happened. Then came the period 1990 to 2000. The early part of 1990, approximately till 95, there were domestic deals which were happening. FDI was the flavor. The government was pushing for foreign direct investments, and the door had just opened, and that was the flavor. And then we had a massive bit of M&A flows into the later part of 1990s, when M&A deals started happening and private equity funds and VC funds came into play. Then around 2000, starting of 2000, we saw core competency came into picture. What happened was, Indian large corporates decided we have set up a lot of companies, a lot of businesses, let's focus on core. So we started seeing Indian businesses hiving off. And that's the period which we saw people, private equity players, foreign investors, and even Indian domestic players started acquiring in India. This story is very similar to what we have seen earlier in Japan and in China. And then once this phase picked off, we saw a very interesting thing, which many of you may have experienced. I'm sure there are lawyers here who have experienced it. We have off-the-chart valuations. 20 times, 30 times, 50 times multiple of EBITDA, which I don't think many of you would have heard about. Deals happened at that particular levels. So that was what I call the adolescent phase. You don't want to do it, but suddenly I want to do it, but I want to do it at weird numbers. So it was off the chart, completely off the chart. And then came India's foray into Europe and US. Tatas, Birlas, they were picking up hotels, they were picking up plants. So the big fishes were playing suddenly in the market. The Indian business houses started moving cross-border. So that was the starting phase. And then around 2005, we saw the Indian SME, which is what we are talking today, getting a taste of cross-border transactions. What did Indian SMEs do initially? They decided to buy plants. Maybe they stripped down the plants and brought it. Most likely these were the automotive sectors. And then slowly, Indian SMEs started buying distribution channels because they wanted to, pharmaceutical companies, they started buying companies for distribution channels which they needed outside. And then comes the current period. What is happening now? Just now we had a little bit of slowdown because in the last 5-7 years, the economy slowed down. And then suddenly we see, in the last 2 years I've been observing again, the flavor is acquisitions outside. And I'll give you 5 pointers why I think the Indian market is now mature for M&A transaction. When M&A transactions happen on a regular basis, it shows that as a financial market and as an FDI, you have matured into a market which is stabilizing. And that's why the snake of China and India becomes relevant for our discussions. One is, as far as boundaries are concerned, for Indian businessmen, these geographical boundaries are disappearing. Indian businessmen are no more just looking at, and I'm talking about, and there are in my presence some of them, Indian businessmen are no more looking at Europe or US or comfort zones of English-speaking countries. I know one of the panelists who will be there later, he's invested into Africa, in Mozambique, in Albania. There are people looking at Brazil as I speak to you. There are people looking at Europe in a big way. So people are looking at investments outside without looking at boundaries. They're looking for opportunities. This is a big mindset change we have seen. Then we have seen core sector focus. Indian SMEs are also saying, let's focus on core sector, let's hive off non-core. But importantly, if you take a deal across to them, they are wanting to see how does it add value to my core competencies. Now, I have been in practice, we have been into M&A for last 20, 25 years. There was a time I would take an idea of an acquisition to an Indian business corporate, and we would say, we got this excellent idea, and the response was normally, so what numbers are we talking about? What is the valuation? Today's date, if we take an idea to an Indian businessman, the response is, how does it add value to me? How does it bring depth to my distribution channels? They talk everything besides valuation because they are serious players. They are not into sellout game, they are into expansion game. This is a mindset change, which is a very big significance from my point of view. Third, and importantly for international players, the valuations are more realistic. They are global norms now. The 20, 30 times EBITDA valuations or 40 times have disappeared. We are seeing valuations in the zone of 6 to 12 times. And of course, if there's something very interesting happening, it could be more. IT segment, we do see some interesting things happening. But overall business valuations are into global norms now. Fourth, and importantly, foreign investors who are coming into India are no more in the experiment mood. Nobody wants to come up, take a 1% chance on their worldwide incomes and just take a dip into India. They are looking at India in a serious way. India is no more an experiment zone. So what we have seen is, and a very clear example is, when 1995 to 2005, when we were moving around and doing business, we saw a lot of foreign companies setting up representative office and liaison offices, which is a testing time for India, and then they would mature to a joint venture, and maybe they'll shut shop and go away. Now we see liaison office as a mechanism to set up in India has virtually disappeared. Hardly of my clients now want to set up a liaison office. It's corporates or joint ventures. You either now the foreign investor has an India plan or you don't have an India strategy. And if you have an India strategy, they know step 2, step 3, step 4. So we are seeing a very clear approach from foreign investors for India. And the last one, and when we talk about policy matters, and therefore I must commend the government of India, which is currently working very hard. The ease of doing business in India is improving. Now, many of you would have stories, oh, this happened and 5 years back we had this problem, but trust me, the future is very clear, and I'm not saying it just because we have a spokesperson from the BJP. I would say it at every platform, that they are doing a super job. The GST coming in, and it's just on the final stages, is a one indication of the seriousness, and our finance minister is put in the red carpet to ensure everything happens. The bankruptcy laws, which are a trouble for foreign investors as much as for domestic thing, they are very clearly there. And all the sectors, I mean the sectors which we are going to be talking about here, they are all open. So these 5 clear indicators indicate India is maturing as an M&A jurisdiction, which means financial services and other sectors are in a tight spot. We are in a good spot right now.